Hello, my name is Connor. 今回の動画では Bandcamp の buying guide について話してます。So yes, hi, hello. We are doing a second installment, a second volume of my Japanese music Bandcamp buying guide. I think that's what I called the first one. In case you haven't seen my first one, maybe check that out because I talked about maybe 25 albums and I recommended some of my favorites. That also includes whole discographies from certain artists, and I talked about a lot and I liked it a lot. So I made that in preparation for Bandcamp Friday for I think May of this year. I am making this video for Bandcamp Friday for I guess September, which I believe is September 5th. I should check that. I should really double check that. I should know this. Yep, September 5th. I knew it. What's Bandcamp Friday, you ask? Well, that is the day where Bandcamp says, hey, we will not take any cut out of anything anyone sells on the website. So what does that mean for you, the consumer? Whatever you buy, 100% of the money will go to the artist and their label. They get 100%. You are supporting them in the most direct way possible, and how cool is that? You get this forever in the highest quality file available. You are essentially future-proofing your collection. So if you're someone like me, you have a digital audio player, and what that means is you have all your music on this thing, and because of that, I do not have to pay for Spotify or Apple Music, though I still pay for Apple Music because I like to hear new stuff that is not available online for me to buy, and also I am not crazy rich, so I can't afford everything I want to listen to. But in some cases, because these albums are so cheap, I highly suggest that you pick them up, because why would you not want to? And then why would you also not want to support an artist that is a really good artist and deserves your money? I don't know. So anyway, let's get right into it. Okay, so first up, I want to talk about the band Texas 3000. Now, Texas 3000 is from Japan. I think one of the members is American, and I say that because he sings with an American accent, and despite that though, they are technically a Japanese band, though they do sing a lot in English. They are from Nakano, and they have a lot of music out. Most recently, I had reviewed their EP called Weird Dreams, I think back in April of this year, and I liked it a lot. They are a really weird band because they don't only stick to one genre, they do whatever they want across an entire project. Like for instance, on that one called Weird Dreams, there is a bossa nova song, there is some Midwest emo, there is a little bit of screamo maybe, but a lot of punk too. And it just works well because I just find that they are really able to balance a lot of that sound and that style, and I don't know how they do it, but they do. This in particular also has a feature from the artist Botsu, aka NGS. I really don't know how to say that, and I feel bad because he's liked my tweets in the past, but he is one of the members of Dos Monos. They are super cool, and I've talked about them a lot in the past too. He also does amazing work on the song that he is on, which is titled Other. Yeah, that is recommendation number one. This is going to run you $7. I think it's worth it. They are a really cool band, but maybe if you want to try it out first, you can listen to them on Spotify or Apple Music or streaming on like YouTube, wherever you like. But I think you should check them out. Number two, we are talking about the heavy shoegaze band Blurred City Lights. They had an amazing album from last year, which I really, really loved, though I did not get the chance to actually talk about it because I don't think I found out about it until February of this year. And by that point, their two newest EPs had come out, which I have also already talked about. They are kind of companion piece EPs. One is a lot poppier and more fun and light. The other is like, you are in the muck and the mire of shoegaze society. With that said, they are titled Utopia and also Dystopia. They are really, really fantastic. I really recommend you check them out. Now, I know they are a little expensive. They're probably gonna run you like $12 each. Honestly, I think it's worth it. This is some really cool music, though I can definitely see that stretching your budget maybe. Maybe in case you don't want to pay that much for two EPs, you can instead get their album from last year, which is titled Tenshi no Inai Machi de, which I believe would translate to a city or a town with no angels. This is equally as fantastic as those two EPs. And again, in case you are interested in checking out this band, maybe check out this album first because I do feel like it does really set the tone well for the rest of their work. Okay, number three is another band that I've talked about in a monthly review, and that is going to be the one Bloom Popo. Yes, they are on Bandcamp. They have a lot of projects. They are from Shiga. The one I want to talk about right here, right now is going to be the one titled Test for Texture of Text. This is a art rock album in the most extreme way possible. Here's the premise, okay? The first song, every word used ends in the sound ah. In the second song, every word used ends in the sound e. In the third song, every word ends with the sound u. And it's like that for all 5 songs. So this is a real test of your knowledge of the language, but because all of the sounds are the same, there is sort of this poetic nature to it. And for that reason, I do kind of feel like the vocals are almost acting as more of an instrument itself here on these songs. This is going to run you maybe like $6 or $7. These 5 songs are fantastic, and maybe if you don't like these, they do also have a lot of their other work here on their Bandcamp too, so I would say check those out. They are kind of like math rock meets indie rock meets art rock and maybe art pop too. There's a lot going on. They are a really special band, and I think you should check them out even if you don't buy anything. Next up is an artist I will not shut up about, and if you have watched my other videos, you would know how true that is. I want to talk about the newest album from Mei Semones. She is an indie artist from New York, however, a lot of her songs are in Japanese, and she is Japanese as well. This is some of the best jazz, rock, bossa nova I have ever heard in my life. I don't want to spoil it. I think this is probably in my top 3 albums of the year so far. The lyricism is great, and it's all about loving, being in love with your family and your friends and the music that you make. A lot of these songs are actually love songs about her guitar, and that is just so sweet and cute, and I think you should own this. I don't know how much this costs because I already own it, because of course I do, because I'm a freak. This album is going to run you $10. Regardless of anything else I say in this video, you have to buy this. For $10, this is also going to be your album of the year, I promise you. I really, really do. And the best part is, there is a lot of English too. So if you don't speak Japanese, you have the English there too, and the lyrics are just wonderful. In case you'd like to hear my further thoughts on this, I have a video on my channel, which I think I'll probably have linked up that way. I talk about a lot of the meanings of the lyrics, and I am very proud of that video. So I think you should check it out, and I think you should check out this album too. It is sublime. Next up, we have another band that I have been a low-key fan of since they started. I have not talked about them much, but that's because they have not come out with a ton of music since they have been around. This is going to be the band Milky. I believe they started back in, I want to say 2020 or 2021, and I first found out about them because I saw them announce their very first EP prior to it coming out on Twitter back in 2020 or 2021. Well, finally, they have released their very first album as of this year, and luckily for us, it is on Bandcamp. This is very heavy noise rock, grunge, indie rock. I would also say art rock too, progressive rock. Yes, there is a lot of reverb, there is a lot of echo, there is a lot of noise and feedback, but on top of that too, there are a lot of sound effects from everyday life. In particular, there are the sounds of running water, and I want to say boiling water too. There is so much going on here. It is so creative, and I think you will like it. Though I will say I don't think it's for everyone. It is a little weird in some aspects, but I think if you are into kind of adventurous rock music like this, you will get a lot out of it. And I guess just to round it out, this is Milky. This is their album titled Ikitai, which means I want to live, and I want to talk about it. Okay, next up is another band I will simply not shut up about. This is going to be Betcover. So I have known about Betcover for multiple years now. I've never really gone into them. I think the first thing I listened to was this album right here, which is titled Jikan, which means time. Betcover is a really weird band because they are art rock jazz fusion. This album in particular is a little bit leaning into electronic, like shoegaze almost. This is such a determinative album, I feel like, for the direction of rock, shoegaze, pop in the like mainstream circuit of the indie circuit in Japan. I'm kind of having a hard time talking about it because I've only got like 30 seconds here to talk about it. But if you want to hear me talk more about this band, check out my review for it. This is another of my favorite albums from this year. My favorite songs on here have to be Kitsune, Aidoru, Kaiten Tenshi, Shima, Niken no Maro, piano. That's pretty much every like song on here. I purchased it for myself and I regret nothing because I listen to it constantly. This is so fantastic. This is such an underground mainstream hit that maybe if you don't know about this, you are actually missing out because everyone else does. This is maybe gonna run you about like $13, $14. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. This is so good. I'm telling you, you have to buy this. You have to buy this. It's so good. I gotta start getting some kickbacks for this stuff, man. God damn. Okay, next, let's talk about the newest album from the band Yuragi. This is titled In Your Languages, and I'm gonna say this will maybe run you $20 or $21. This is a shoegaze band that really took the world by storm, I would say back in 2016, 2017. I had reviewed this album, I wanna say back in March of this year. I liked it a lot. I do think that this made me a fan of them again because I kind of fell off of their first 2 albums. I thought they were okay, I just wasn't the hugest fan. I did, however, really like their first few EPs. They were wonderful. With that said, I do think that this album is truly a return to form. I do like it a lot, maybe you will too. I think you should listen to it first because this is kind of pricey. However, I do know a lot of people like this band, and I think you should support them if you are one of those people, because maybe you had no idea that this was on Bandcamp. Well, it is, and you should buy it. Next up is a band that I have talked about extremely recently. This is going to be the band The Otals, which I recently made a really cool sort of video essay on. You should check it out. It will be linked there, or the thumbnail will look like this. So unfortunately, we are in the year 2025, and it looks like their newest work here is from 2023, which is going to be their very first album. Yes, that is unfortunate. However, there is a lot of fantastic music that they've made. In particular, this album here is a collection of a lot of their most popular songs leading up to this point, and it is just chock full of really wonderful shoegaze, twee pop, Brit pop, shoegaze, pop rock stuff. So maybe if you're into that, you will like this a lot. I know I did, and that's why I am talking about it right here, right now. In case you are a longtime viewer of my channel, and by that I mean from the beginning, you would know that my very first review was for an EP from the band TomTom. Well, TomTom have finally released their newest EP as of this year, which is titled Where They Dwell. This is some like reggae, jazz, bossa nova, sort of psychedelic rock too. That is just all over the place. However, it is so consistently fun and intriguing and entrancing, and I think if you haven't listened to them, you certainly should. This is going to run you $12. I think that's totally worth it in my opinion. I should also note that this is one I liked so much, I purchased the test printing of it on Bandcamp, and I'm so happy I did because this is a really cool album. I love listening to it on my iPod too because I am always in the mood for some music from this band. I do wish that they had more of their music on Bandcamp. However, they do not, but in case you are liking them and you want more from them, my recommendations are going to be this album, Where They Dwell. I also really like Ramble in the Rainbow, which I also have on vinyl. Yeah, they are just a super chill band with a lot of saxophone and a lot of intimate moments in their music, and that is just such a cool vibe, and it is really wonderful to have on vinyl too, because that's just kind of the vibe you want playing in your house a lot of the time, right? Okay, so next up is a very popular pop, punk, rock, noise rock maybe band from Japan. This is going to be the band Otoboke Beaver, and this is going to be their album, which is titled Super Champion. This did come out 3 years ago, however, it is their newest work to date. Now, I will say, I don't think this band is for everyone because I think it can annoy people if you're not a fan of, I would say, slap bass led punk, pop, noise rock. This can be weird for you. I do suggest you try it out, maybe listen to them on streaming, but I think in general, if you know, you know, and this is one you would really like. This is maybe gonna run you $8 or $9 for the whole album. I say do it. Or maybe in case you want their very first album, that will cost you like $7 or $8. This is titled Itekoma Hits, and it has a lot of hits. This is probably my favorite work of theirs, and I recommend this one too. Again, check them out. This one is maybe even more stripped back noise punk than the second album. So if you like that second one, I would say check this out, but I don't think every fan of the second will enjoy the first. Okay, who's next? What do we got? Okay. This is another band I've been shilling like crazy. This next band is probably one you've heard of. This is going to be World's End Girlfriend. They have a lot of albums from the past like 20 years. I feel like they're always on the cutting edge of very cinematic, theatrical, and bombastic art rock music. I think it's fair to say that their most popular album is going to be this one here, which is titled Heartbreak Wonderland. This came out in 2007, and this has really stood the test of time, in my opinion. There are some absolutely beautiful rock tracks on here that just cascade and ascend up to heaven, and I think this is another of, if you know, you know. I think you should check this out. However, I think you should purchase it on Bandcamp because you can pay whatever you want for this. And oh my god, check this out, no minimum. If you want to own this, you can snag it for free, for $0. Or I guess maybe if you want to be nice and support art like you should, you can pay $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5. For that price, I really think there's no reason not to pick this up. I think this is a must-have, and you should do it right now. Next up is another wonderful band that has quite the reputation. This is going to be the band Plastic Girl in Closet. In my opinion, they are the pioneers of, I want to say, bedroom rock pop from the 2010s. I strongly encourage you to check out and to buy the album IQ Ryu C. I can never pronounce it right on the first try. Now, unfortunately, you might like this, you might not like this. This is the 2022 remake, which is them re-recording it, which they have been known to do for a few of their albums. This still really sounds fantastic. They are a really fascinating band, and I think they really paved the way for the Otals, and I would want to say for Tracy Hyde, and also I would want to say maybe just shoegaze and rock and pop in general for Japan. This has so many classic songs on here. I feel like maybe if you frequent TikTok or Tumblr or Twitter or Reddit, you would have probably heard of these songs, at least in some capacity. There are so many fantastic songs on here. My favorites though would probably be Error, Starry Stairway, I, and also Vampire. I feel like those are the real cuts here. I think if you check this out, you will immediately understand why they are so special. I think you should buy this. It is $11 USD. That's such a good price for something like this. Please check this out. Thank you. Dude, I've got a lot of albums to go over still. Oh my gosh. Next up, this is a very popular band, though she does not come out with music a lot. This is going to be the artist Uchu Nikkoko. They are popular to the point where I think the artist has really blown up on Twitter specifically. On top of that too, a lot of their work is actually out on vinyl in various countries with various labels, which is very impressive for any band, especially a Japanese one. Now, unfortunately, they only have one album on Bandcamp and then one like two-sided single. So I'm gonna recommend the album Hibi no Awa. This one is especially cool because of its features. This has two songs from lovely Summer-chan, who is a really cool singer who does like pop rock with like a 2000s sort of slant to it. I will also be talking about her a little bit later too. This is very cutesy shoegaze, indie pop, indie rock from Japan. So I think if you like that with a sort of bedroom pop aesthetic, maybe borderlining on, I would almost say like early Clairo in a way, you will like this a lot too. Okay, so next up is a band that I somehow forgot to talk about in that first video of mine. Jojo is one of the like new age quintessential math rock bands in my opinion. I think they've been making music for about 10 years now, and every time they come out with something new, it's just better and better and better. Their most recent release is going to be the album, which is titled Let's Promise to Be Happy. This came out 3 years ago, and it is absolutely fantastic. I also own it on vinyl. I was very lucky to find it physically in Japan. I do have one word of warning for you though. There is a weird rights issue with this album. The music label for this album in America is Top Shelf Records, and they're fantastic. I love them a lot. I have a ton of their releases. I love them. But for whatever reason, there is a weird licensing thing online on Bandcamp for this band with them. So with that said, you can technically purchase this album digitally. However, it is going to run you $1,000. This is not 1,000 yen, this is 1,000 USD. So do not buy that. And it specifically says that on the page for this album too. Do not buy this. I think it only is up because when you purchase a physical version of it, that's how you get the download. Because of that, I think they need to technically have the digital version up in order for you to download it. And so to offset that, they are making it so it is incredibly expensive, but do not buy it. Do not buy it, do not buy it, do not buy it. Instead, you can purchase the physical version for as low as $16. And that's how you should do it. And then you will get a physical version and the FLAC. So how cool is that? But I guess back to how this album sounds. It is just happy, light, beautiful math rock. There is typically a lot of flute in their work, and like I said, it just sounds beautiful. It sounds so natural too. They are really in a league of their own. I like them a lot. So that's my recommendation, but just don't buy that digital album. You will go broke. Next up is another artist I managed to forget to talk about. This is going to be the very popular, very amazing math rock band Mouse on the Keys. They are extremely famous in Japan and outside. They are a very interesting math rock trio because there are no guitarists. There is a drummer and two pianists, and that's how they make their math rock. And it is so unique and interesting for that reason. I would also maybe call this art jazz in a way, just because they do get so experimental with the sound of this rock music. With that said too, I think if you like Toe or Trico or maybe also Jojo, you would like them a lot as well. But you've probably already heard them because they are very famous and they have been for a very long time. So that's that one. Okay, next up is a really cool band that I only found out about, I want to say a month ago. And this is another band that I have talked about in one of my EP review videos. This is going to be the band Two Beef. This band actually only has 2 EPs out, yet they are equally fantastic, and I think they are really amazing shoegaze experiences. The first EP is titled Lucky, and the second is titled Orbs. I think I like Orbs more than Lucky, though Lucky is really good. This is crazy reverb shoegaze. It sounds like you're in a whirlpool, which is a sound that I think is really furthered by the album art for that EP. Now, here's the best part. Each of these EPs are maybe like $2 each. Just buy them. I think maybe the combined total of this would be like 40 minutes. They are just really heavy shoegaze. So if you're into that with some male vocals, you will love them. You really, really will. I really have nothing else to say, not even anything negative. These guys are just really special. I would also say that they are a band that knows what they want to make and they know how to make it. So that's my synopsis. Okay, so next up is a recommendation from another YouTuber. He is significantly bigger than me, so I'll shout him out. But honestly, you probably already know him. His YouTube channel is titled Angura, and he does a lot of videos about bands, and he goes deep. In particular, he has a wonderful video about Mass of the Fermenting Dregs from about a year ago, though I think it was maybe like December of last year. Please, please, please go check that out. It is such a cool video. It's like half an hour long, and it is so interesting. I love Mass of the Fermenting Dregs. They're so cool. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I will not be talking about them here because I talked about them last time. So go check them out anyway though. So anyway, here is the album I'm talking about right now. This is an EP from the year 2014. Now, one of the best parts about the band for Tracy Hyde is their lead singer, Eureka. However, in 2014, Eureka was not the lead singer. It was another artist named Lovely Summerchan, who I just talked about. In particular, Lovely Summerchan has had a very successful solo career too. I had no idea that she was at one point the lead singer of this band. This is a name your price EP. You can buy this demo EP, sort of in a way, for $0 if you so choose. I don't think you should. I do still think you should pay them, but please check this out because it's not on streaming either. It's here on Bandcamp ready for you specifically. I guess for the people that don't know for Tracy Hyde, they are like a legendary shoegaze band in Japan. They unfortunately disbanded in 2022, yet their legacy lives on in all kinds of ways. Seriously. I need to do a video about that at some point because it is impressive. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about this. Go check it out. It is 4 songs for free. So there's no reason not to. Next up is a super cute indie rock album that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. This is going to be the album I Was Waiting For You at Okayama Station by the band Super Owan. This is an indie band. This is indie. They are sort of indie rock, indie punk, indie pop with a very stripped back sound. Despite that though, this isn't their first release. They actually have a lot of other work out. This album just came out, I want to say 2 months ago, and for that reason, that's why I am talking about this one in particular. This is also incredibly cheap. It will probably run you $9. It is just a lot of super fun, lo-fi, garage indie rock. Next up, we are talking about a wonderful album that I actually talked about in a review earlier this year from the artist Kaede Hirato. This is going to be the album titled Someday I Will Love You. This is very cool glitch pop, electro pop, orchestral, piano-led pop music. It is so beautiful and wonderful. And oh my god, Kaede is just such a wonderful producer. Since I've already talked about this one at somewhat of a good length, maybe you can go check out my video if you're so interested. But I think for the purpose of this video here, I will say that my favorite songs are the last one, which is the title track, as well as I liked Nod and also Lily. They are just beautiful songs. This is a very short album, and it also looks like it might run you about $13. I think this is worth it if you do like electronic music. This actually just came out on Bandcamp, I think like a week ago. However, the album itself came out back in like February. I think I also talked about her in my Avis video because she did a cover of a Trico song, which I personally love, and it just came out really well. And I think she is a really fantastic up and coming artist that you should keep your eye on. And what better way to do that than by listening to her music? So check this out. You will not be disappointed. Next up is another artist that I actually talked about in my first volume of this series. However, she has a new album out, and it's also her debut album. This is going to be the album which is titled Euphobia by the artist Emma Ibara. She is a guitarist mainly. However, she also merges that with a lot of drum and bass electronic elements, which I think is very unique and very well put together and very well executed. One thing to note is that this album is also name your price. So I guess you can either check it out on streaming, or if you just want it for free, you can do that too. Though again, you should pay this artist. She is super cool and is another one to watch out for, I think. Next up is an artist that I love yapping about. This is going to be the band Yuki Gooni. I feel like Yuki Gooni is like the most up-and-coming band ever. They had an amazing album from last year, which is called Pothos, which is what I want to talk about right here, right now. On top of that too, though, they also have an EP from, I want to say January, which is called Lemuria, and it is just as good with a little bit more, like slightly more electronic production maybe. But again, mainly, I just want to talk about Pothos. This album is such an exploration of sadness and loss and losing everything you cared about and trying to move on from it. I really want to say that this is like loneliness personified. Yes, it is going to cost you like $20-ish. It is like an hour 10 long. There are a ton of tracks. They are all fantastic. I love the instrumentation. It's so hard hitting. It is like shoegaze, indie rock, bedroom rock. But man, this album just sounds like you are deep in their soul, writhing in it. And it is such a wonderful, wonderful album. Even if it's not the happiest thing ever, it is such an experience, and you should check this out. There are so many songs that I think are absolutely wonderful, but I think instead you should watch my video. I talk about lots of things about this album, such as the lyrics and the themes and the motifs, and I also gave it a very good score, which I don't want to spoil, but I think the band would be pleased. If Pothos was on vinyl, I would totally own it. Okay, next up is another artist that I talked about in that first video, but I want to talk about here because she has a new album. This is going to be the album Ekolaptomenos from Harun Muri. I still have not figured out how to say the name of this album, and I'm going to the concert for it next month, so we'll see how I do. This album is so special, and that's because Harun Muri is such a special artist. She is a rapper, rocker, poet, and she is just on the cutting edge of the most radical politics you can think of for the greater good. She is such a cool person, and because of that, she makes really cool music that I think is especially poignant for today's era. Like I said, I think if you like rock music and rap music, which is very art rock and Bjork inspired, you are going to love her, especially this new album. This new album is very much more electronic than a lot of her other work. I, in particular, really like that sound from her. So for that reason, I am rocking with this a whole ton. This album will probably run you like $24. On God, it's worth it. Please buy this. This is such a special album that I want to make a special video about because it just has so much going on and really deserves a lot of time devoted to it, I think. Next up, I want to talk about the band Yureru wa Yure. They are a band I talked about in another of my EP videos. This is strange because this is from 2024, so it's not their newest work. It's all they have on Bandcamp, so that's why I am talking about this one here. This is their demo album. They are another cool, really heavy shoegaze band, and so for that reason, I think if you like that sound, you should check them out because this is going to echo in your brain forever. What I will say though is that I have not spent a lot of time with this EP, so I'm not too familiar with it. I like their newest work, which came out, I want to say back in April as well. You should definitely go check that out. I really, really loved it. But in case you are looking for someone to support, this is a fantastic band. They are definitely worth your time and money. Speaking of heavy shoegaze reverb bands, I want to shout out Cleon Hotiki. This is another band I talked about in an EP review. And actually, if you go to the page for this on their store, you can see my review of their EP. It's only like 2 sentences, but I liked it a lot. So I had to say something about it. This EP is titled Buccal Cone. It has some fantastic tracks on here. It will maybe run you $7, maybe $6. They are a really cool up-and-coming heavy shoegaze band, and I love that album cover. It is so beautiful. It is so intricate. There's a lot going on. I guess as is the case with the sound of this band too. They are making some really cool music, and when I go to Nagoya, I am hoping they are playing because I would love to see them. Okay, and with that, we have reached our last artist, and last but not least, I want to talk about the band Dos Monos. I think I've been following this band since their career started in like 2018, 2019. They are a hip-hop rap trio. They make some of the craziest experimental hip-hop you'll ever hear. Not all of it is very fun to listen to. A lot of it is very discordant, but that only makes it more fun, in my opinion. What I want to talk about here is their newest EP, which is called Dos Moons. This EP is much rockier than anything else they've ever made, yet that is an amazing sound for them. Junji Ito actually drew the cover of this, and that rocks, as does this album. My favorites on here are probably the songs Gilda and Oz, but all of it is absolutely fantastic, and honestly, this is probably a great entry point if you are not familiar with the band, because I feel like it's their most accessible. I would say that I am a huge fan of their first album, which is called Dos City. That album has some absolutely incredible production. So does this EP too. I think if you just like to have neurons firing in your brain, this is the EP to listen to because it is a trip. That is everything I wanted to talk about. It looks like I've been recording for almost, I think like an hour and a half. So hopefully there is a lot of good stuff that you got out of this video. As always, please check out these artists. Please support their work, because if you don't, they might not ever make any more work ever again, which would be unfortunate for me. And like I did last time, I will also be including links to all of the work that I talked about in the description. So go check those out. There will probably be a lot of them. And I'm sorry, but I want to get people paid. Please let me know if there are any other artists or albums that are on Bandcamp that I missed out on, because I always love getting new recommendations, and in particular, if it is a band that I really end up liking, I want them to make money, like I keep saying and saying and saying. Sorry for being a broken record. I guess pun intended in that case. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of some of these artists, and if I had some good picks, because that would make my day. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.